Hey everyone, this is Ross. In today's video, I want to show you guys one method that you can use to protect your container fruit trees throughout the wintertime. A lot of people, what they do is they have a couple trees and whatnot that's in pots and they can't move them out of the colds, and they'll end up dying if they don't protect them, right? Some people use their garage, some people maybe have a greenhouse, maybe a root cellar, maybe they even put them in their basement. What some people do is they actually take the potted tree, they dig a hole and they heel it into the ground. Just basically by putting the tree in the ground, you're protecting those roots. The roots are surviving this way. I've come up with a much easier method of protection because I don't want to really be digging 20 holes. You know, years back, we've been doing this video now for 3 years now. I think 2 years ago when we first did this method and this video, I had about 20 to 30 pots, container fruit trees that I needed to protect. And there's no way I can dig all these holes. It's a lot of work, it makes a mess. No one wants to do that. So what I would suggest, get your container fruit trees together, put them in a nice little pile, group them up real nice, and then insulate the pots. You can put over a tarp, you can use any sort of insulative material. What I'm using here is straw. I just group the straw up, wrap it all around it, put it in nice, a nice amount, cover all the sides of the pot. Also cover, what's a good idea is to cover the top of the pots. And here's why, here's a big pro tip with this method, is that because our container fruit trees are in pots, they're above ground, and therefore in the spring they're subject to the soil warming up a lot quicker. And if the soil warms up a lot quicker than it would in the ground, the tree wakes up quicker. So then you have an issue where you might get hit with a late frost or even just a regular frost because your tree woke up in March. Well, if you keep this whole thing really well insulated, I think the straw does a really nice job. Really pack it on there tight, and essentially you get yourself not only insulation throughout the winter time, but you have a steady temperature, a steady root temperature in the spring, and they don't end up waking up nearly as quickly as if you didn't protect them at all. So this could be, not just a method for people who are trying to protect them through the winter time, but also to stop them from waking up in the spring too soon. So for me, this is a really nice method. I've been doing it for 3 years. I've done it with many species of fruit trees. You guys are looking at right now, I actually have a pomegranate in the ground. It's called Salivatsky, and I wrapped the 2 jujube plants that are in 10-gallon sized pots around this particular pomegranate, and it's all gonna really help protect the pomegranate. But mainly I've done this with pomegranates. I've done this with jujubes. I've done this with stone fruits of all kinds, apples, pears, all kinds of berries that you can grow in temperate locations like kiwi, raspberries and blackberries. I've done this with persimmons. So even subtropical species, if this thing will survive the wintertime, that's really the key here, is that if you have a species of fruit tree that will survive your location, so if this is hardy to zone 5 and you live in zone 7, of course the wood is going to survive, right? But there's a different hardiness rating for the roots. That's very difficult to find out. That information really is not really available anywhere. I mean, you may find a study somewhere that, or maybe someone had conducted some sort of experiment here, but for the most part, you're not going to really find that information. You just have to protect them as the best you can. My rule of thumb personally is that if the fruiting plant is hardy to zone 6 and you live in zone 7, you're going to be fine. It's when I think if you live in, let's say, a zone 6 and the plant is hardy to zone 6, you may have some issues there. I actually quite doubt it, but putting up this insulation here gives you like another 10-15 degrees, if you can believe it. It really insulates this thing well, and you really won't have to worry about it. It's all about trial and error. I can't give everybody all the answers, but here in zone 7, I've pretty much gotten everything to survive, even some pomegranates that really shouldn't be hardy to zone 7, and even some persimmons that really shouldn't be hardy to zone 7. Yet being in zone 7, I was able to overwinter them this way. So I think it's really important that you do a little bit of research on this in addition to this video, but for the most part, you guys should have no issues with this kind of thing, especially if the variety is one hardiness zone lower than your actual zone. So I want to thank you guys here for watching this one. I hope you guys got some information. Yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. See you for tomorrow's video, and subscribe. Check out our blog, figboss.com, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see everybody pretty soon. Again, take care. We'll see you for tomorrow's video, guys.